They're trying to convince the world that Israel is starving people in Gaza. This is a complex thing due to who controls the aid, how Hamas leverages aid that comes in, how they control the area. But overall, it would be nice if people weren't starving. So, who's starving? Whose fault is it? What do you think is the essentials that we need to know when we're having difficult conversations with people we often agree with?
Alex, the simple truth is Hamas is the one responsible for the starvation to the degree that there is starvation. I point out that if you look at the people from Hamas, they aren't starving. These are well fed people. I even said to Piers Morgan last night on an interview with him, I said, there may be starvation going on in Gaza, but it's not Hamas. These people don't need food, they need Ozempic because they're incredibly well fed. They look like Southern farm boys. Um, I'll tell you who's starving. The hostages are starving. And it really ticks me off when these European leaders like Macron and Starmer, they're putting all this pressure on Israel to drop food in for people in Gaza. And I want them to maybe put a little pressure on Hamas to start feeding the hostages and tell them to stop making these hostages dig their own graves, which I find revolting and disgusting. And where's the condemnation for that? If there's hunger in Gaza, and I believe there is, I'll be the first to say I think that in pockets, not everywhere, but in pockets, there's hunger. But the reason is twofold. One, Hamas prevents people from getting to the feeding sites and shoots some of them. And I heard that from the Gazans themselves. But a lot of the food that goes into Gaza is stolen and looted by Hamas, who put it in warehouses, and then they turn around and sell it to people on the black market. Last year, Hamas made $500 million, that's $500 million, selling the relief food, the humanitarian food. By the United Nations' own numbers, these aren't numbers I attributed to them, this is what they report. 88% of the food that they send into Gaza is stolen or looted. Now think about that. 88%, that's a 12% effective success rate and an 88% failure rate. I've sent pictures on Twitter that showed 900 trucks full of food sitting at the border that hadn't gone in, thousands of pallets of food that was sitting in the sun rotting that hadn't gone in. And the reason the UN and some of its affiliate organizations didn't take it was because they said they're too principled to allow that food to go in with a military escort from the IDF. And I'm thinking, okay, let me see if I get this right. You say that you're really concerned about hunger, but you're more concerned about who helps you get that food to people than whether or not the food gets to people. So somehow you're not convincing me that feeding hungry people is your primary objective. It's control.